The Craxian warship's detention cell reeked of ozone and despair. Felix hung suspended in energy shackles, his body bearing the marks of 3 days of interrogation. General Vexthor circled him like a predator savoring its prey, mandibles clicking in satisfaction. "Your species is weak," the alien general hissed through his translator. "You break so easily. Tell me the coordinates of Earth's defense grid, and I'll make your death swift." Felix lifted his bloodied face, managing a defiant grin. "You really don't know humans very well, do you?" A proximity alarm suddenly shrieked through the ship. Vexthor's 4 eyes swiveled toward the main display, showing a single human shuttle approaching. No weapons powered, no shields raised. One pathetic rescue attempt? Vexthor laughed, a sound like grinding metal. "Destroy it, General," his lieutenant's voice trembled. "The pilot is requesting permission to board. She says she's here to negotiate." On the view screen, a young woman appeared. Arya's face was calm, almost serene, her dark hair pulled back in a simple braid. She wore no armor, just a standard civilian jumpsuit. "I'm unarmed," she announced. "I only want to talk." Vexthor's mandibles spread in what passed for a smile among his kind. Let her board. This should be amusing. Minutes later, Arya walked into the detention chamber with measured steps, flanked by a dozen Craxian guards. Her eyes found Felix immediately, taking in his condition without a flicker of emotion crossing her face. "Who is she?" Vexthor demanded, turning to Felix. "Another soldier? A diplomat?" "Your mate, perhaps?" Arya answered before Felix could speak, her voice carrying an odd lightness. "I'm his sister." She paused, tilting her head slightly. "And your death." The chamber erupted in harsh alien laughter. The guards relaxed their stance, amused by what they saw as human bravado. Vexthor approached Arya, towering over her slight frame. "Little human female," he sneered. "You came here alone, unarmed, to threaten me? On my own ship? Surrounded by my warriors?" "I didn't come here to threaten you," Arya replied softly. "I came here to give you a choice." She pulled something from her pocket, a small photograph. Felix's eyes widened in recognition. It was from their childhood, 2 kids grinning at the camera, covered in mud after playing in the rain. "You see," Arya continued, her voice conversational, "humans have this thing about family. We're rather protective, some might say irrationally so." She looked at the photo fondly. "Felix and I, we lost our parents in the First Contact War. All we had was each other." "Touching," Vexthor mocked. "But sentiment won't save either of you." Arya pocketed the photo and smiled, a genuine, warm smile that somehow made the temperature in the room feel like it dropped several degrees. "General, are you familiar with human berserkers?" Vexthor's translator struggled with the word. "Your warrior class?" "Not quite." Arya began walking slowly around the room, guards tracking her movement. "It's an old Earth term. Warriors who would enter a trance-like fury in battle. They felt no pain, knew no fear, and wouldn't stop until either they or every enemy was dead." She stopped directly in front of Vexthor. "Modern humans refined this concept. We call it the Lazarus Protocol." Felix's face went pale. "Arya, no. Hush, little brother." She didn't look at him. "You see, General, the protocol involves specific neural conditioning. Pain becomes fuel. Damage becomes data. Death becomes negotiable." Vexthor laughed again. "You're stalling. Guards, take her to—" Arya moved. It wasn't human movement. It was something else, something that had been hiding beneath her calm exterior. Her hand shot out, fingers rigid, and struck the nearest guard's throat at a point that shouldn't have mattered to Craxian physiology. The alien dropped instantly. Before the body hit the floor, she was already moving, using the falling guard's weapon to vault herself into a spinning kick that connected with another guard's sensory cluster. The room exploded into chaos. "Kill her!" Vexthor roared. Energy bolts filled the air. Several struck Arya directly. She didn't flinch. Didn't slow. The burns sealed themselves almost as quickly as they appeared. She moved through the guards like a dancer, each strike precise, targeting nerve clusters and pressure points that Craxian military doctrine insisted didn't exist. In 30 seconds, 12 guards lay unconscious or dead. Arya stood in the center of the carnage, not even breathing hard. A thin line of blood ran from her nose, the only sign of the enormous strain the Lazarus Protocol put on human physiology. "The choice," she said calmly, as if nothing had happened, "is this: release my brother, Leave human space, and never return, or... She wiped the blood away. I continue. Vexthor backed against the wall, reaching for his personal weapon. You're just one human. My ship has thousands of warriors. Yes, Arya agreed. And I have approximately 6 hours before the protocol burns out my nervous system. She smiled that terrible smile again. Want to guess how many Craxians I can kill in 6 hours? She took a step forward. Vexthor's weapon trembled in his grip. You're bluffing. No species would create such a weapon. The cost is everything, Arya interrupted. That's the point. We don't use it to conquer. We don't use it for glory. We use it for family. Her voice dropped to barely a whisper. And you took mine. Another step. Vexthor's weapon clattered to the floor. Release him, he commanded shakily. Release the human and prepare my shuttle. As the energy shackles dissolved, Felix collapsed. Arya caught him effortlessly, supporting his weight as if he weighed nothing. You didn't have to, Felix whispered. The protocol. Arya, you'll die. Maybe, she admitted, half carrying him toward the exit. But you won't. That's what matters. As they reached the doorway, she turned back to Vexthor one last time. Remember this moment, General. Remember that a single human walked onto your warship and you let her leave. Remember that we chose to be peaceful explorers, not conquerors. Her eyes blazed with an inner fire. And remember what happens when you threaten our family. The siblings departed, leaving Vexthor standing among his unconscious guards. Within hours, the entire Craxian fleet had withdrawn from human space. In his final report to the High Command, Vexthor wrote only this. The humans are not weak. They are restrained. Pray to whatever gods you honor that they remain so. Arya lived for 3 more days, long enough to see Felix recover, long enough to see the Craxians retreat, long enough to become a legend that would echo through the stars. Touch not the humans' kin, for their love is deadlier than any weapon.